Where are the best stocks to invest in 2025? Well, to answer that question, I'd like to review where we're at. We're at February 10th and what stocks are the best ones so far. So, drilling into it within the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones, where are the best stocks? Well, let's take a look at how sectors have been performing. All stocks belong to a particular sector: communication service, materials, financials, technology. And so far, year to date, communication services is leading the pack. Why is that? Why is communication services that much better, especially compared to technology, which has really seen a pullback in 2025? Well, when we look at the companies that are in communication services, it is a list of really good companies, starting with Google Alphabet, going down to companies like Reddit, AT&T, Netflix. Now, so far this year, some of these companies have just been doing fantastic while some are still lagging. Now, the big laggard, the biggest company in the space is Google Alphabet. They're not having a good year so far. So far, the industry or investors have not liked how much capital they're putting into their data center. They don't like that, and they've been selling off the stock. In fact, they sold about $250 billion worth of stock out of Google, and they're putting that in other investments. The one that's created the most market cap in this particular sector is Meta. Meta is up 22%. That is phenomenal. And this is a giant company, $1.8 billion or trillion dollars, excuse me, in market cap. That's phenomenal. Netflix had a great earnings and they're doing great. They're growing around the world, profitable, growing users, phenomenal. T-Mobile, doing great. And these guys, of course, do cell phone service, network services. They're growing really well. They're up nicely at 11.5. Disney, not so much. And Disney's been troubled for like 5 years. They just have old businesses that are a drag on the business. They have to hire a lot of employees, deploy a lot of capital in their theme park. So it's just not as desirable as other companies. AT&T's having a good year, but I don't like AT&T or Verizon because they carry too much debt on that balance sheet. When we jump down to Spotify, they're having a tremendous year, up 39%. Go Spotify. That's because you're growing their users. When you think about these businesses, their reach around the world is quite powerful. I'm a Spotify user, love the service. And so are millions of people around the world, and they keep growing their user count. And this is the type of business that it doesn't cost a whole lot more to service that next customer or the next million subscribers. And they are just become more profitable as they can become bigger. DoorDash is really executing really well in delivery, food delivery. So they're doing great. NetEase is a China-based company that does music streaming, video games, all kinds of neat technologies, and they're doing well. It's good to see China stocks are beginning to go places. Jumping down to Reddit. Reddit is doing great. Reddit has, of course, a very big following of Redditors. And I think the reason why the stock's doing so great is so many retail investors are familiar with it. They have an exciting future, especially around selling their data to AI companies. So Reddit has been a phenomenal place to grow wealth in 2025. And the last stock I'll cover is Pinterest, another social media company. And they're doing really well, up 38% year to date. Go Pinterest. I think that small cap and doing well provides really high rates of return. Now, why are these companies so darn valuable and doing so great? Well, a couple of reasons that I'll note. First, we have tariffs threatening certain industries. Tariffs will not affect this industry. It's not like a tariff is going to affect how Google would provide search or Meta would provide Facebook. It just doesn't touch them. So they're somewhat immune to the whole tariff threat. Second is global growth. These companies, most of their users are outside their home country. And that's really advantageous. They can grow around the world and provide their services globally. And it doesn't cost a whole lot. They just have to set up their network, their computer systems, and they do really, really well. That combination leads them to be companies that produce very high profits, grow really well, and produce very high free cash flow. Those ingredients make for very good valuations. And I think that's why they're doing great in 2025. I think it's going to continue. This sector, I would not be surprised if at the end of the year, this is the sector that has the best year in 2025.